Before the emperor chose his empress, a Taoist priest visited our home. He declared my destiny was exceptionally nobly a phoenix destiny. Yet I had been frail since childhood, plagued by constant illness. Moreover, my father was merely a fifth-rank official. Our family could never produce an empress. Still, I was carried into the palace. Entering alongside me was the emperor's childhood sweetheart, the legitimate daughter of a minister's household. I understood immediately. The emperor intended to use me as a decoy to pave the way for his beloved. If that was the case, I would fulfill the destiny of the phoenix. The night before entering the palace, my father wept in my room all night long, having lost our mother at a young age. He cherished my sister and me deeply. He knew well that with a new emperor ascending the throne, the palace would be rife with open and covert struggles. Yet, at this very moment, my destiny had been foretold. Yet I told my father only this: that Taoist priest absolutely must not be spared. Hearing my words, father paled in shock, perhaps never having seen such ruthlessness in me before. But since I was chosen for the palace, the entire Qi family would rise or fall together. I could never be a pawn. I would carve out a future for our house. On my first day in the palace, I was carried through the main gate alongside Yunru, the legitimate daughter of the chancellor. Such blatant disregard for protocol, heedless of the world's and the palace's criticism, made it clear to me that our new emperor was not one of steady temperament. On the wedding day, during the imperial couple's wedding night, Li Sijin merely sat briefly in my chambers. The daughter of Qishan is indeed dignified and graceful. Worthy of the empress position, I hastily bowed and knelt. Your servant is deeply honored by the emperor's grace, receiving this extraordinary honor through heaven's mandate. It is truly a blessing. Moments later, I heard laughter above me. Why does the empress perform such a grand bow? Then, Li Sijin reached out and helped me up. I rose slowly, not daring to look at him. After a while, the eunuch who attended Li Sijin closely entered and whispered something in his ear. In that instant, he left my palace and hurried straight to Yunru's Chaoyun Hall. The next day, when Li Sijin and I paid our respects to the Empress Dowager, she made veiled references to our night together. My face flushed with embarrassment as I bowed my head. Your Majesty. The Emperor treats me most kindly. Even Li Sijin hadn't anticipated it I had covered for him regarding last night's events. The Empress Dowager chatted with us for a while longer, bestowed gifts, and then dismissed us. As we left Shoan Palace, Li Sijin pulled me close. Why did the Empress take the blame for last night's lie? I smiled, meeting Li Sijin's gaze. As Empress, I must understand that the Emperor and I are one. Besides, I've already ordered that not a whisper of last night's events be leaked. I doubt Her Majesty the Empress Dowager will ever know. By the time I finished speaking, I had already turned and walked alongside Li Sijin, unaware of the complex expression flickering in his eyes. After about half a month, Li Sijin had thoroughly gauged my temperament and disposition. Seeing that I truly was not one to cause trouble and was easy to handle, he felt at ease spending the night in my palace. On his first night in my palace, I lay beside him, tears silently falling. Your Majesty, I whispered. Since childhood, physicians have diagnosed me as frail and unfit for childbearing. Though my destiny holds nobility, I fear I may be barren. The implication was clear. There was no need for elaborate measures to prevent conception. His first son would be born from his beloved ruler. Though Li Sijin gave no clear response after hearing my words, I glimpsed his thoughts in the subtle twitch of his lips. Yet, constrained by my claim of destiny, he had to put on a show. Your Majesty need not worry. You are destined for imperial fortune. You shall never lack for children. I offered a faint smile without reply, closing my eyes to feign sleep. Early the next morning, the consorts came to pay their respects. Yunro wore a displeased expression, lashing out at me as if venting her frustration. I hear His Majesty spent the night with you. Sister, why then does your complexion remain so poor today? They all say the Empress possesses the Phoenix's destiny. Could it be she cannot bear our emperor's dragon's vitality? The other consorts covered their mouths and giggled. Yunru was the legitimate daughter of the chancellor, while I was merely the daughter of a fifth-rank official. Even now, with my so-called destiny and the title of empress, they still bowed and scraped only before Yunru. I did not engage in an argument with Yunru. Instead, I put on a smile and sternly admonished her. Sister Yun. Teasing this palace is one thing, we are sisters within the same palace. But to speak recklessly in the emperor's name is improper. Yunru reluctantly fell silent. I cleared my throat softly and rose, sweeping my sleeves. This palace is truly weary. Sisters, you may withdraw for today. As I departed, I overheard Yunru's confidants whisper, seeing the empress' frail state, Sister Yun will seize the chance to claim the central palace when the time comes. I sipped my tea, a flicker of derision crossing my half-closed eyes. If she craves power, I'll grant her this favor. That afternoon, I carried a food box straight to the Purple Palace. Inside, I knelt to petition on Yunru's behalf. Your Majesty, this humble servant knows her constitution is frail. Often, I cannot manage the affairs of the harem properly, and I fear causing your Majesty and the Empress Dowager worry. Therefore, I request that Consort Yin assist in governing the 6 palaces. I expectedly see Jean to agree immediately, but unexpectedly, he hesitated. Is this truly your wish? I nodded in response, though Yun's sister has a somewhat impatient temperament. She is also capable of earning the trust and respect of the sisters in the palace. With that, Li Sijin made no further excuses. Before my eyes, he wrote the imperial decree appointing Yun Ro to assist in managing the 6 palaces. I lingered for a few more moments before finding an excuse to depart. Stepping outside the palace gates, I glanced at the clear sky above. Turning to Zhu Yin, I said, it's been quite some time since we paid our respects to the Empress Dowager. Let's go to Shouan Palace. Inside Shouan Palace, I peeled oranges while chatting with the Empress Dowager about court affairs. Since you entered the palace, you've been the only one who's visited me more often. The Emperor and the other consort show busy they must be. I handed the freshly peeled orange to the Empress Dowager. Then I shall visit you more often henceforth. After all, Yun's sister handles matters in the harem. The Empress Dowager's expression darkened at once. You are the Empress. How dare you allow a mere consort to surpass you? I lowered my head, my voice faint. Consort Yun enjoys the Emperor's favor, coupled with my own failing health. I requested and obtained the Emperor's permission for Consort Yun to assist in managing the affairs of the 6 palaces. The Empress Dowager snorted coldly, her eyes already flashing with fury. The Emperor truly favors this consort to an excessive degree, seeing I had achieved the desired effect. I chatted with the Empress Dowager for a while longer before returning to my palace. Perhaps tonight I had other urgent matters to attend to. After supper, I changed into the flowing-sleeved, shimmering gown I'd brought from home and danced the long-sleeved, waist-bending dance within the palace grounds. Bathed in moonlight, my graceful movements were truly a sight to behold. After dancing for an unknown length of time, I leaned against the ancient locust tree by the palace gate. Chuyin brought tea and gently wiped the fine beads of sweat from my forehead. Your Highness, please rest. A woman dances for her beloved, with his majesty absent. Why exhaust yourself thus? I took the teacup and sighed. Though his majesty is absent, this is the only way I can express my longing. Just as I raised the cup to my lips, a voice sounded beside me. Who said I was not here? Hearing this, I curved my lips, feigning surprise. I dropped the teacup, shattering it, and bowed deeply. Your Majesty, may you be blessed with peace. Li Sijin hurriedly helped me up, soothingly asking, did I startle you? I shook my head hastily. Watching you dance just now was a feast for the eyes. I had no idea the Empress possessed such extraordinary skill. My cheeks flushed slightly, but Zhu spoke up at that moment. Your Majesty, the Empress has been a master dancer since childhood. What you witnessed was merely the tip of the iceberg. If you could come again in the future. Silence. I turned and snapped sharply. Yet Juyin seemed even more aggrieved on my behalf. Hastily kneeling on the floor, Her Majesty forbade me to speak, but I truly ache for her. Your Majesty doesn't know she constantly thinks of you. Every day she sends me to the Purple Palace Hall, either with ginseng soup or tea and snacks. Yet I can't even enter the doors. I'm not complaining. But I can't bear to see her heartfelt efforts go unnoticed. I feigned slight irritation and leaned back. You're becoming more and more disrespectful. Juyin. One more word and I shall punish you. Juyin fell silent at this. But Li Sijin embraced me. How could the Empress' heart remain hidden from me? I turned my gaze to meet Li Sijin's tender eyes. Your Majesty is so occupied with state affairs. I couldn't bear to disturb you. Besides, since Yunrua has already done it, I didn't want to trouble you further. Li Sijin held me tighter and spoke softly. I will cherish the Empress dearly from now on. I paused, then wrapped my arms around his waist. Very well. After that, Li Sijin began visiting my palace more frequently. But the good times were short-lived. A month later, Yunru was diagnosed as pregnant. Li Sijin was overjoyed. This was his first child since ascending the throne. He immediately elevated Yunru to imperial noble consort, even though Yunru could not attend to his bedchamber. He spent every night in her palace, yet his actions saddled me with the shame of being mocked by all under heaven. Even the palace servants' tongues I could not silence. Everyone said that though I, the Empress, bore the Phoenix's mandate, I was destined to be childless. They feared it was only a matter of time before imperial consort Yunru would surpass me. With matters having reached this point, I let them spread the rumors. I simply continued to play the role of the cautious and careful consort by Li Sijin's side. Since Yunru's pregnancy, her temper has grown increasingly volatile. If she chose not to attend court, she simply did not come. I could do nothing about it. So I let her be. Yet she dared to complain to Li Sijin over a lunch that didn't suit her fancy. When the Empress Dowager learned of it, she punished Yunru with 3 days of confinement. Though Yunru is pregnant, the Empress Dowager's maternal clan, the Qins, and the Yun clan have always been at odds in court. The Empress Dowager holds little regard for this child. Moreover, Li Sijin isn't even her biological son. How could there be any talk of grandchildren? When Li Sijin pleaded for Yunru's leniency, the Empress Dowager rebuked him, accusing him of being overly partial to her. Seizing the moment, I brought sweet soup to comfort Li Sijin. Seeing how haggard he looked, I promptly began massaging his shoulders. He grasped my hands and sighed. If only Ruer possessed half your virtue. A faint smile touched my lips. Yet it is precisely Yun's temperament that captivates His Majesty. Li Sijin lowered his head and chuckled softly. I paused briefly before resuming the shoulder massage. Your Majesty, now that Yunur is with child, and with few sisters in the palace and no one truly to my liking, coupled with my own persistent health issues, might it not be wise to select a few more sisters to join us? Li Sijin shook his head. Enough. Palace expenses are tight now. We must avoid extravagance. I pressed on. Then perhaps summon my younger sister to the palace. She is 2 years my junior, but clever and agile. I fear your Majesty might take a liking to her. I distinctly felt Li Sijin stiffen. So I hastened to add, my sister and I grew up together. I know her temperament and character best. She will surely serve your Majesty well. After a long pause, Li Sijin spoke. Very well. The Empress is magnanimous and generous. Let it be done as she suggests. I raised an eyebrow inwardly, a flicker of joy lighting my heart. I knew Li Sijin would agree. After all, our chief family's background was humble, and my sister was easy to control. Being more than happy to bring her in. Within days, my sister was granted the title of noble lady and brought into the palace. When Yunru found out, she had a huge fight with him. Rumors outside claimed Yunru had even smashed the imperial seal and jewels meant for the imperial noble consort. Enraging Li Sijin, I sent word to my sister, instructing her to prepare to attend the emperor. I was certain Li Sijin would summon her for his favor today. Sure enough, everything unfolded exactly as I'd anticipated. The next day, all the consorts from every palace came to pay their respects to me except Yunru. My sister was among them. I gave her a look, signaling for her to stay behind afterward. After the formalities concluded and the consorts withdrew, I hurriedly summoned my sister. The moment I saw her, I impulsively pulled her into my arms. Shumeng, is father still well? My sister quickly reassured me. Sister, everything at home is fine. Fighting back tears, I gently smoothed her palace-bound hair. Do you resent your elder sister for bringing you into this palace? My sister's expression was resolute. The words you spoke before entering the palace. Elder sister, I have never forgotten. Even as a woman, I cannot be a mere stepping stone for others. Protecting our family must come first. I nodded. Truly worthy of being my sister. Qi shunning. The grand drama ahead will be performed by us sisters together. My sister lifted the corners of her mouth. Rest assured. Sister, I've made all necessary arrangements outside the palace, ready for any eventuality. I nodded with relief. For now, you must capture the emperor's heart. Red walls and green tiles newcomers always outshine the old. Even with Yunru pregnant, someone would inevitably replace her. Now my sister has quietly taken her place. This provoked Yunru to curse our chief family in the palace, accusing us of harboring ulterior motives sending our daughter to the palace while she was pregnant. But even as empress, my father remains merely a censoring chief, powerless to surpass her father. Li Sijin paid no heed to her words, yet I could not ignore it. Endless gifts poured into the Chaoyun palace, at least to impress Li Sijin. Finally, day after day, the day of Yunru's delivery arrived. By then, my sister had risen to the rank of one of the 4 consorts. Yunru's labor was excruciatingly painful, and she insisted the emperor be present. I summoned Shumeng. I sipped tea leisurely within the palace walls. Sister, she's about to give birth. When shall we make our move? Running my fingers through the phoenix crown and jeweled ornaments adorning my head, I replied calmly, no rush. Let's wait until after the child is born. After all, our preparations are complete. It all hinges on whether she bears a son or a daughter. Should she deliver a boy, you begin your plan. Should it be a girl, we wait another year. Shumeng drained her cup of tea in one gulp. Sister, this scheme is truly brilliant. Lady Yin will never suspect that the one who harms her is someone close to her. My gaze darkened slightly as I stared into the bronze mirror, a sharp gleam flashing in my eyes. Who could blame this precious phoenix destiny for choosing to rest upon the daughter of the chief family? Since this fate has been bestowed, I shall certainly prove it to them. Yunro labored for a full day and night without delivering. As the situation grew dire, the imperial physician warned that if the child was not delivered soon, both mother and child might perish. Li Sijin summoned both me and Shumeng to attend her. Upon entering, the room was thick with the pungent stench of blood. Your Majesty, is Sister Yun still well? Li Sijin shook his head, his face grim as he sat on the bed. Empress, I've already sent for the Chancellor's wife. For now, go and see for me. Seeing this, I gave Shumeng a knowing glance. She hurried to Li Sijin's side. Your Majesty, do not worry. Imperial noble consort Yun is blessed by heaven. She and her child will surely be safe. She will bear you a healthy little prince. I approached Yunru's bedchamber, watching as basin after basin of bloody water was carried out. I bent down, took out a handkerchief, and gently wiped the sweat from her brow. Sister Yun, don't worry. His Majesty is waiting outside, and the imperial physicians are all present. You just need to push the child out. Though Yunru cried out in pain, she shoved me hard. I lost my balance and stumbled backward. Shumeng, hearing the commotion outside, rushed in. Sister, what happened? I touched my scraped head and glanced at Li Sijin. Your Majesty. I'm fine. Li Sijin's face showed some irritation. At a time like this, you're still squabbling. Save your strength and deliver the child quickly. With that, he lifted the curtain and entered alone. Xu Meng and I exchanged glances. Our assistance was no longer needed. About 2 hours after Li Sijin went in, another piercing scream echoed, followed by the wail of a newborn. I sighed inwardly. The child had finally arrived. Inside, people rushed to congratulate Li Sijin on the birth of his prince. Zhu Yin helped me into the inner chamber. The moment I lifted the curtain, Li Sijin's roar pierced the air. Ruer! Ruer! I rushed inside, seeing the court physicians kneeling in a heap, then glanced at Yin Ro, who had already breathed her last. I hurriedly supported Li Sijin from behind. Your Majesty. What I glanced back at Yin Ro, feigning urgency as I shouted at the physicians. What are you all standing around for? Quickly treat the imperial consort. The group of physicians knelt trembling nearby, only their leader managing to contain his panic. The imperial consort exerted herself greatly during childbirth. The difficult delivery caused hemorrhaging. We are now powerless to save her. After hearing the physician repeat the same words, Li Sijin's body jerked backward, and he suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. I signaled to the physician, examine the emperor immediately. I stepped aside, my gaze falling on the infant clutched by the wet nurse, wailing loudly. Then I glanced at Li Sijin, who was on the verge of fainting. It all seemed so perfectly logical. When Li Sijin regained consciousness, both the Empress Dowager and I remained by his side. Yet the moment he opened his eyes, he demanded that Yunru's child be named Crown Prince and that Yunru herself be posthumously honored as Empress. This enraged the Empress Dowager. Your Majesty, when Yunru was alive, she was already second only to you. Now, with the Empress still among us, you wish to posthumously elevate a concubine to Empress. Wouldn't that invite the entire realm to mock our imperial family for favoring a mistress over its own wife? The imperial noble consort may be dead, but her family remains powerful. To name her child Crown Prince now, do you think the great Qian dynasty is a joke? Yet Li Sijin spoke softly from the side. Ruor is gone, mother. And you still speak thus. She and I were childhood sweethearts. She was meant to be my wife. Now she has borne my child and passed away. How can I not name her son Crown Prince? And why? Mother, did you specifically block Ruer's mother from entering the palace? I listened. So it was the Empress Dowager who had barred the Chancellor's wife from entering the palace. Seeing Li Sijin slumped on the couch, the Empress Dowager snapped harshly. Look at your pitiful state. Without this old woman scheming for you, you wouldn't even be fit to be emperor. Your mind is consumed by one woman. Have you given even a thought to the empire and its people? If Lady Yin learns Yunro died giving birth to this child, she'll tear you limb from limb. I raised an eyebrow, inwardly delighted. After a moment of scolding, the Empress Dowager turned her gaze to me. The child born to Lady Yun, if the Emperor wishes to name him Crown Prince, simply entrust him to the Empress for upbringing. No need for formal adoption procedures. This child shall have only the Empress as his mother. Hearing this, I hastily knelt, though Li Sijin remained silent. His expression must have been grim, but I achieved my goal. His mood was no longer my concern. As Empress, raising this child was my rightful duty. Yet news of Yin Rao's death after childbirth couldn't be concealed forever. I awaited the Yin family's next move. Sure enough, on the child's 100th day, the Yin family brought a woman bearing an uncanny resemblance to Yin Ro, claiming she was a distant niece from a collateral branch. Li Sijin, gazing upon this face so strikingly similar to his beloved, immediately took her into the palace. I said nothing, choosing instead to wait for developments at Shouan Palace. Though the Empress Dowager challenged this woman, Li Sijin shielded her fiercely this time. Half a year later, she was even granted the title of imperial consort without bearing a child. Her prominence was poised to surpass that of Yunru herself. Seeing this woman's rise to power, The Yun family dared to entertain thoughts of reclaiming the child. During the Mid-Autumn Festival banquet, I ascended the high platform with this now unrivaled imperial consort to offer prayers. Yet she lacked Yun Rao's composure, convinced she would become the next Yun Rao. She dared to challenge me. Your Majesty, though your birth is noble, the imperial harem thrives on the emperor's favor. With my current esteemed position, once I bear an heir and gain the Yun family's backing, even with Sister Rao's child, you won't hold the position of empress for long. I patiently listened to her rant, then simply rubbed my palms together before delivering a sharp slap across her face. She stared at me in utter shock, as if my usually meek demeanor made this act utterly unexpected. Snapping back to her senses, she immediately screamed for Li Sijin to take her side. Hearing this, I struck her again. For a concubine to speak insolently to her superior, I reward you with a slap. For shouting in the sacred grounds during the Mid-Autumn Festival prayers, I reward you with another. Stunned by my blows, Yun and I pushed me frantically. Seizing the moment, I rolled down the steps from the high platform, landing directly at the feet of the Empress Dowager and Li Sijin before losing consciousness. All eyes turned upward to see our newly favored consort in a panic. Pleading with them, before I regained consciousness, the Empress Dowager dealt with Yun and I with thunderous severity after all. Attempting to harm the Empress was no minor offense. With so many officials present, the Yun family could find no one to plead their case. Moreover, Yun and I, a distant branch of the family, had been recommended by them. Now, publicly attempting to harm the Empress exposed the Yun family's treacherous intentions. The Empress Dowager would never spare them. Seizing this opportunity, the Empress Dowager had the Qin family uncover numerous scandals involving the Yun clan. True or false, every accusation was pinned upon them. Left with no choice, Li Sijin, out of respect for Yun Rao, stripped the head of the Yun family of his official position and ordered him to retire to his hometown. Throughout my entire period of injury and convalescence, I was the happiest. While I nursed my leg wound, the Empress Dowager had already uprooted the Yun family. Now, looking around the harem, there was only me and my younger sister. I couldn't help but admire Empress Dowager Qin's ruthless decisiveness. Once my injury healed and I regained control of the harem, I found that the consorts who had previously shown me no respect had suddenly become docile. Your Majesty, the Empress, forgive this humble concubine for her previous ignorance. I never realized you were truly destined by heaven to be the phoenix. The former Lady Yun was so arrogant and overbearing, using the emperor's favor to run rampant in the palace. She even incited the other consorts against you. Now it seems, even the imperial noble consort is no match for your destiny as phoenix. Seated upon the imperial throne, I listened to the flattery of the concubines below, a quiet smile touching my lips. Their change of face was indeed swift, but now that the harem was ruled by my sister and me, I could afford to hear their flattery. Li Sijin, grieving the successive deaths of his beloved, remained gloomy and withdrawn, avoiding the harem altogether. The Empress Dowager, recognizing that Xu Meng and I now held sway in the harem, conceived plans to infiltrate it with her own people, but I was now firmly entrenched in power, raising the crown prince, and without fault. Even she, the Empress Dowager, could do nothing to me. After rejecting the Empress Dowager's proposal, I headed straight for the Purple Palace. After all, I needed to make Emperor Li Sijin aware of his good mother's intentions. Your Majesty, the Empress Dowager mentioned today that the Qin clan has a suitable young lady they wish to send into the palace to serve. I have declined, as I expected. Li Sijin nodded. The Empress is correct. It is indeed unwise to take in new consorts at this time. Besides, I have no desire for it. I rose and walked behind Li Sijin, removing his armor while massaging his temples. Indeed, the Empress Dowager has just used this opportunity to eliminate the Yun clan. If we allow a Qin woman into the palace, their family would gain unchecked power. Who could then keep the Qins in check? It's just a pity for Yun's sister. She passed away after giving birth. Had she lived, perhaps the Yin family wouldn't have met such a fate. Li Sijin visibly paused, turning to look at me. Noticing his expression, I immediately knelt. Your Majesty. Forgive me. I only sought to help analyze the current situation. Yet I presumptuously discussed state affairs. Li Sijin raised his eyes slightly, letting out a soft snort. The Empress Dowager. I truly never anticipated this move of hers. Li Sijin gripped my hand tightly beside him, his voice deep and solemn. May the Empress remain true to her words when she first entered the palace that we would be one body, husband and wife united in heart. I placed my other hand over his, meeting his now darkened gaze. Your servant will always stand by your Majesty's side. Li Sijin released my hand and closed his eyes. You may withdraw for now. I wish to be alone. Hearing this, I slowly exited the Purple Palace Hall. The next day, news reached the palace that my father had been promoted twice in rank. Shumeng smiled radiantly in my chambers. Sister, it seems our Qi family will soon be honored with glory. I stroked my temple, lowering my gaze with a faint smile. My message has reached him. Li Sijin understands. The rest is beyond our need for action. But you must tell father, when two tigers fight, the survivor must not be underestimated. Do not exhaust all strength against the Qin clan. That effort must come from the emperor himself. We merely need to go with the flow. Shumeng nodded. They'll find a way to inform father. Rest assured. Elder sister. Days passed without Li Sijin setting foot in the inner palace, his focus entirely on the front court. He must have followed the lead of Yunri's difficult childbirth, discovering all evidence pointing to the Empress Dowager. Now he's likely pouring all his energy into toppling the Qin clan, seeking vengeance for his beloved childhood sweetheart. All I need to do is stay in the palace, chatting and laughing with Shumeng, waiting for his outcome. Sister. Now that the emperor has turned against the Empress Dowager and the front court is in turmoil, do you think she might turn her attention to us? I teased the bird in my hand and looked up. Rest assured. The Empress Dowager is stretched too thin on both fronts. She won't have the leisure to think about us. If the emperor can eliminate this future threat in one fell swoop, it will make all my daily trips to Shoan Palace worthwhile. Shumeng smiled faintly. Sister's meticulous planning will surely bear fruit. I wonder what the emperor's reaction will be when he discovers it was you and I who indirectly poisoned Yunri through him. Just imagining it brings me such satisfaction. I replied, my expression unreadable. He brought this upon himself by doting on her so. If he truly cherished her, he should have defied all opposition and crowned her empress outright instead of concocting a pretentious excuse to drag me into this whirlpool. The seeds he sowed must now be reaped by his beloved. Just wait. The drama between the emperor and the Empress Dowager will surely outshine ours. The 12th lunar month drew near. Li Sijin's conflict with the Empress Dowager began with the Qin clan raising troops in rebellion. But the Empress Dowager hadn't anticipated that Li Sijin had already secretly recalled the Prince of Yan's forces to the capital. I smiled as I cradled little Yuer, who cooed softly in my arms. Little Yuer, mother will take you to witness a grand spectacle. From the heights of Lingyun Terrace, I watched Prince Yan enter the palace to rescue the emperor, slaughtering the Qin clan's rebel forces to the last man. This loyal and valiant war god of Great Qian had returned most timely indeed. Li Sijin personally led his swordsmen to encircle Shoan Palace. As he confronted Empress Dowager Qin, his face was twisted with fury. Mother, I believe I have obeyed you enough. When you forbade me from making Ruer Empress, I merely elevated her to Imperial Consort. I intended to promote her to Imperial Consort Dowager only after she bore an heir. Why still cannot you tolerate her? Empress Dowager Qin snorted coldly. I was wrong to choose you as my adopted son. You truly lack the makings of an emperor indulging the daughter of a treacherous minister, acting rashly and indecisively. Li Sijin gave a self-mocking chuckle. Not only did Mother Empress err, but I erred even more grievously to have believed there existed even a shred of pitiful mother-son affection between us. I rocked little Yuer in my arms, gesturing toward the Empress Dowager and Li Sijin. Yuer, You must never be as dull and foolish as your father, nor point a sword at your own mother as he did." In the next moment, Empress Dowager Qin threw her head back in laughter. "The victor writes history. This old woman cares not what labels the emperor pins upon me now. I admit defeat in this game. I only pray for a child of my own in the next life, rather than toiling a lifetime only to sew a wedding gown for another." With that, she drew Li Sijin's sword across her own throat. The spurting blood splattered precisely onto the golden dragon pattern beneath Li Sijin's robe, staining the five-clawed flying dragon crimson. I hastily covered Yuer's eyes. "Let's not watch this. Mother will take you back to the palace to play with your aunt." Within Fengyi Palace, I sat on the imperial throne playing with Yuer while Shumeng came alone to my chambers. "Sister, all matters are now settled." I shook the rattle in my hand as Yuer giggled in my arms. After a while, I placed him on the imperial throne and walked down alone. Meeting my sister's gaze, I sighed with a smile. The potion's effects should be kicking in by now. This is only the beginning. Well, wait patiently until Yuer learns to walk and talk, then the time will be right. The emperor must be utterly exhausted today. Go keep him company. I'll visit tomorrow. Remember to light the incense well, loves it. After my sister bowed to take her leave, I turned to look at Yuer, who was playing happily. I walked over slowly. "My dear child, you're already so delighted just sitting on mother's throne. There are even higher seats awaiting you in the future." A heavy snow fell over the capital all night, and Li Sijin fell gravely ill. All claimed he had defied heaven and betrayed filial piety by slaying Empress Dowager Qin. Though the Qin clan had plotted rebellion first, Empress Dowager Qin remained the mother who raised him and supported his ascension to the throne. At the very least, she deserved to be spared. Now, for the sake of one woman, he had gone this far, already causing some of the old ministers to lose heart. When I went to see Li Sijin, I just happened to encounter Shumeng coming out. Before I even entered, I caught the strong scent of medicine mingled with perfume. The moment I stepped inside, the palace maids and eunuchs nearby knelt to greet me. I took the medicine from the eunuch's hand and walked over to sit beside Li Sijin. "Your Majesty, I heard you were unwell and came to visit. Your servant will help you take your medicine." Recognizing the visitor, Li Sijin opened his mouth slightly. The last sip of medicine made Li Sijin choke and cough. I hurriedly patted his chest to ease his cough. "Empress, you are the only one I can truly trust by my side now." I lowered my head and smiled faintly. "That is only natural. After all, this servant bears the destiny of the phoenix. Only I can stand beside your Majesty." The moment the words left my lips, Li Sijin's dark eyes suddenly fixed on me. "Empress, what do you mean by that?" I feigned a pause. "Your servant says it is all heaven's will that your servant be with your Majesty. Well then, today's medicine is finished. Your servant shall not disturb your Majesty's rest. I shall come again tomorrow." With that, I dared not linger a moment longer and hurried away. Meanwhile, in the former court, Li Sijin's health had long been poor, forcing the Prince of Yen to act as regent. Outside the Hall of Proclamations, I finally caught sight of this legendary Prince of Yen and relayed Emperor Li Sijin's condition. "Your Highness, were it not for His Majesty's deteriorating health, I would never have troubled you. Young Yu is still too young and has not yet been designated heir. I fear this vast empire may soon rest upon your shoulders." The Prince of Yen waved his hand, responding as I had anticipated. "Your Majesty the Empress, I have always been loyal to His Majesty and to the great Qian dynasty. The future heir can only be the young prince." I hastily covered my face and wept. "In that case, I thank the Prince of Yen. I offer my gratitude on behalf of His Majesty and Yuer." With that, I knelt straight before him. The next day, I shared the plan with Shumeng. She dismissed all attendants from Li Sijin's chambers. Now utterly weakened and immobile, Li Sijin lay before me, his eyes wide and vacant. Seeing me approach, he reached out to grasp my hand. Empress." I flung his hand away, snorting derisively. With such a potent dose administered, your majesty still hasn't ascended to the Pure Land. Truly, you possess remarkable resilience. Li Sijin stared at me in utter disbelief, struggling to utter a gasping sound as his eyes widened. What did you say? I spread my arms wide, twirling to display the crimson court robe I wore today. The phoenix embroidered in gold thread seemed poised to take flight, fiery and dazzling. Your Majesty, does this phoenix robe look splendid on me today? I leaned close to Li Sijin, my face inches from his, speaking with perfect composure. Heaven decreed this phoenix destiny a fate of supreme nobility. Li Sijin fluttered about, his hand snatching fiercely at my sleeve. Of course he knew it was all a lie, but he thought I didn't know. I calmly pried his fingers loose. I began to suspect the moment that Taoist entered our home. Why me? Of all people, why did I enter the palace alongside Yunru? You wanted to use me, the daughter of a lowly official, to pave the way for your beloved childhood sweetheart. Once she bore your heir and seized power, you'd hunt down that fake Taoist priest from years ago, dethrone me from the Phoenix throne, and let your yin sister trample over me to ascend the path to Empress you'd laid out for her. Your Majesty, no wonder the Empress Dowager called you foolish. Watching Li Sijin speechless, frantically clutching the quilt, I couldn't stop laughing. Suddenly, another amusing thought struck me. By the way, do you think Yunru would be so furious upon learning her child was raised by her own people that shed storm out of the imperial tomb? Li Sijin froze upon hearing this, a tear spilling from his eyes, red as if they might shatter. My laughter grew louder. Every drop of the fragrant poison Menger first applied to you, though ineffective on you, proved highly potent on the pregnant Yunru. Each time you visited, her body grew weaker. Still, she proved herself worthy, though she perished. She left me a Princino need for my preparations outside the palace. Li Sijin floundered, glancing toward the sword by the bedhead. I stepped to the bedside, clamped my hand over his mouth, and pressed him down. But for all this, I am most grateful to your Majesty for ridding me of the Empress Dowager. I never imagined that mere words of enticement would prompt you to truly investigate her. My elaborate scheme was not in vain. Li Sijin struggled beneath my grip, yet laughter finally escaped him. I brushed the stray strands from his forehead and murmured softly, for all this, I must ultimately thank your Majesty for the destiny you granted me. This destiny now serves me well nourished by the realm, revered by all. I lowered my voice, leaning close to Li Sijin's ear. Your Majesty, rest assured, your body can endure another 2 years. I won't let you go so soon, but the imperial physicians cannot detect it. For what harms your body are 2 poisons: the broth from my palace and the incense from Menger's. Taken separately, they cannot be traced. You may rest assured and await the day, 2 years hence, when your heir comes of age and you may pass away. The palace path stretching ahead felt interminably long. I walked straight to the city gate. Climbing to the summit took considerable effort. Yet gazing upon the vast landscape of mountains and rivers below the capital city brought a measure of relief to my heart. From that day forward, I began ruling from behind the curtain, holding Yuer in my arms. 2 years later, with the Prince of Yen and my father-in-law jointly assisting in governance, not a single voice in the entire court questioned my position or Yuer's status as heir apparent. Seizing this opportune moment, I visited Li Sijin one last time. Long unseen, he had aged like a man in his 40s. Sitting opposite him, I added the final incense to the burner. Perhaps the fragrance roused Li Sijin. Seeing me seated before him, he began to babble incessantly, words that sounded like pleas for mercy, like confessions of regret. I drew a deep breath. Your mistake was choosing me. I have a sister and a father, so I had to take a gamble, fight for my life. I couldn't drag my family into becoming stepping stones for the woman you loved. Rest assured, I will return this fate to you. I will have you buried alongside your beloved daughter. Consider it my repayment for this fate. On the day Li Sijin passed away, Yuer could already hold a brush. I taught him daily to rule the realm with benevolence and filial piety. Never let romantic attachments distract you from the righteous path. Otherwise, this empire will be handed over to others. The end.